And remember,
Are you serious?
remember when you said that you would do whatever I asked you to?
Are you serious?
Yup. Well, Carson's just getting here right now, and we need to have a really important conversation about 401ks. I found out his wife has one, and there are literally 5 reasons why you would never, ever, ever want to put your money in a 401k, and I'm going to teach him the first lesson right now. Hey, I'll let you in when you're 59 and a half. Lesson number 1, never put your money in 401k prison.
You right to jail.
Welcome back. My name is Kris Krohn, the #1 single-family real estate investor.
And my name's Carson, and for the next year of my life, I'm gonna be doing whatever this guy tells me to do.
And I heard that you have a 401k.
Is that bad?
Yeah, you know that I'm disappointed in you. All right, see, here's the problem. At age 65, the average American has $247,000. But there are 5 reasons why our modern 401k is actually a scam, because first and foremost, it should be double if they weren't making these 5 mistakes.
Kris, I'm not a dummy. I mean, I've been following you for years. I know that real estate almost always outperforms a 401k.
So that's actually not the 5 reasons of why a 401k sucks. It actually doesn't have anything to do with real estate at all. It actually has to do with an inherent problem with the product itself. You see, you've been sold on a 401k dream. And there's a reason why. You're like, oh, I get the match. It feels like free money. And then if I just put money in it long enough, I can ignore my financial future because maybe my 401k will be enough. Well, check it out. One of the biggest lies in personal finance is the 401k. You've been told it's the key to your retirement dreams, but what if it's actually a trap?
It's a trap.
A scam designed to keep you broke while Wall Street gets rich. And no, this is not conspiracy theory. I want to share with you 5 very real things that you do not understand about why I never put money in a 401k at all.
Kris, I would rather reach retirement and at least have $250,000 than nothing.
So you're okay only having 3 years of money for retirement, even though you spent 40 years putting that nest egg away? I would call that a broken game plan. If your game plan, your financial future is contingent on a plan that will not yield you enough money, does that sound like a good game plan?
No, when you put it like that.
No, I'd call it a broken game plan. And if you really want to know what's crazy, it's not $247,000 with all the fees that have been likely extracted from your 401k. It should actually be double that. It should be over $500,000. Check this out. The second problem with 401ks is that they have hidden fees that bleed you dry. For example, they have administrative fees. Often they're 1% annually, but they can be as high as 2%. And then you have fund management fees ranging from 0.2 to 2% that are trading fees on mutual funds. Fees are the silent wealth killer. A 2% fee, it's not going to sound like a lot, but over 30 years, it can rob you of hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's money that should be funding your retirement, not lining the pockets of Wall Street executives. In this example, we have someone with a $1 million value on their 401k. So obviously, this executive is doing 4 times better than the average American. But check this out. If all they have is a 1% annual fee, we see a 25% plus drop. If it goes all the way to 2%, literally they lose half of their account balance. Hence, if what you're left with at the end of the day is $247,000, without those fees, it literally would have even been double that.
You know, Kris, as you're talking about this though, I can't think of a single investment that doesn't have a fee of some sort. I mean, you've helped me get into real estate. Even real estate has fees built in.
There are fees with just about anything you invest in. But if you take a look at normal financial products, 401ks, IRAs, annuities, the S&P, when those fees are whittling down a 30-year average return of 5 or 6%, it hurts a lot. I don't touch a real estate deal unless I'm earning a minimum of what?
25%.
If it doesn't have at least a 25% annual gain, and so my fees on 25%, I hardly feel them. Fees on 5%, you're gonna feel them. It literally cut the value of your money in half. It's nasty when you're only earning single-digit returns. Well, and Carson, if you think the fees are bad, let me share with you a different fee that's been around since 1955. It's called inflation. Inflation is the silent killer, not of your 401k, but of every dollar that you possess. And you have to take it into account when we're talking about 401ks. Check out this chart of the last 100 years. We have to go clear all the way back to roughly 1955 to see that we didn't have to pay an inflation fee. Look at what inflation has done through the 80s, and if you take a look at the last administration, dude, we saw inflation almost as high as 10%. What did that do to your 401k? Let's take a look at this. Inflation is the enemy of every long-term investor. Historical inflation rates are around 3%. Even if your 401k grows at 5%, inflation eats away at your gains, making it now 2%. Well, by the time you retire, your $1 million might only buy you what $400,000 does today. That's not the financial freedom we were promised when we were told we were getting all this free money in our 401ks.
Okay, Kris, I hear what you're saying, but I mean, it's not all bad. The real reason that my wife and I haven't pulled the money out of our 401k, her 401k, is it's tax deferred.
So why is that better?
I don't know, because people say it's better.
Check this out. They say that deferring taxes with a 401k saves you money, but what happens when you withdraw your money in retirement? Tax rates might be higher, and Uncle Sam will still take a big bite out of your nest egg. The other reason why people talk about it like a tax savings is like, well, I'm older and I need less money, so I'm gonna take out less, which will lower my tax bracket. And I'm like, yeah, you're not saving enough money. If you're like 99.9% of people, you're gonna need that money, you're gonna pull it out, you're still gonna be paying taxes. The 401k is not a tax advantage retirement plan. It might defer them, but down the road, you're gonna have to pay them anyway. The only vehicle I'm aware of where you can defer taxes indefinitely is the game of investing in real estate.
Okay, the thing you haven't talked about yet, and it's probably because it's like one of the really good things about a 401k, is the match, right? JetBlue, my wife's employer, was giving her money in order to invest that. And it's nice to have someone putting money into your investment.
Feels like free money, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. First of all, can you spend it if you want to?
I mean, when we pull it out.
Okay, second of all, what are you giving up by getting the match?
How do you mean?
Well, if I had a choice of locking your money in prison with a match or just giving you the cash today, which would your wife have chosen? You would have preferred a bigger paycheck.
Taken the cash. Yes,
you would have taken the cash.
But that's not an option.
Well, check this out. The fifth myth of why I don't put money in a 401k is the free money myth. This idea of like, well, they're gonna match me, so this is my money and I get it. The Center for Retirement Research conducted a study using tax data and discovered that for every dollar an employer contributes to your 401k match, they reduce salaries by 90 cents for men and 99 cents for women on average. In other words, your employer is essentially redirecting money from your paycheck to fund your 401k match, put it in prison, leaving you with just pennies of actual net benefit from the matching contributions. If it were me, I would have gone to JetBlue and said, I'm declining my 401k and I'd like to have a raise, which is equivalent to what you would be putting in my 401k. Hence, money today is way more important than you locking it in prison to 59.5.
So Kris, if all this is true, why do so many big institutions and so many people, why do we still do it?
It's tradition. It's herd mentality. It's like the lemmings. Everyone's doing it, so I'm gonna do it too. Most people invest in 401ks because it's the path of least resistance. Your employer matches your contributions, pressuring you into golden handcuffs. Financial advisors are encouraging it, and it feels safe. But is it safe, or is it just what everyone else is doing? Break out of the herd mentality and realize this one truth. If the system you're using for retirement isn't gonna be enough money, then why would you do it? You should do something different. Let's talk about alternatives. I remember in college Econ 110, we studied this concept called opportunity cost. When you make a choice, what is the next best choice that you're foregoing? Or in other words, you've chosen a 401k, but what would have been the better choice for you? Here are some examples. Number one, real estate. Forbes reports that the average real estate investor earns just over 10%. And I got news for you. That's better than 5%, and it doesn't have all those fees, and inflation is going to do the opposite. It's going to grow your money. When I invest in real estate, I'm earning 60% on average based on a 9-year study of the last 2,130 rentals that I've done. Number two, private equity or businesses. You have a chance to earn higher ROIs like 20 or 30%. And yes, there's risk, which is why you don't put all your money in one basket. You've got this life insurance game called infinite banking. You can borrow against a policy while earning compound interests of often 10% and even as high as 20%. All of that is better than the single digit 5% that 401ks, IRAs, and most financial products yield.
Okay, hold on. So I have all this money in my 401k. What are my options? Am I stuck?
No, in truth, you do have a couple of options. One of those options is you can take the money out and you can pay taxes, you can pay penalties. There's also a way to leave it in. You can self-direct it where you don't have to pay taxes and penalties. And then you do have limited options of, well, how can I invest it? And yes, you can put it into real estate. That is a viable option. And yes, if you want to learn how to do that and get a free game plan on your options, click the link below. Let me show you. And now we get to my favorite part of the video where I get to challenge my apprentice to do something he doesn't want to do. But I promise it's going to be good for him. Carson, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Here's your challenge. I need you to convince your wife to take her 401k and put it in real estate.
I knew you were gonna do this.
Yeah.
Will you come help me?
Nope. No, are you kidding me? I just gave you the notes. Literally, you have all the reasons now.
She is like 100 times more conservative than me.
Well, then you're gonna hate the consequence. If you can't convince her, then I need you to dress up in a pink tutu, go to the mall, and do 100 burpees in front of as many people as you can find. And remember,
Are you serious?
remember when you said that you would do whatever I asked you to?
Are you serious?
Yup. But if you succeed, think what's going to happen to your real estate.
I know.
It's going to be really good.
I know.
And if you fail, I'm going to laugh real hard. It seems like a win-win. Challenge accepted. I don't think he's any good at all. Like, I know Shalina. She is so conservative. She's not going to go for it. If I know Shalina, I see a pink tutu in Carson's future. In fact, if you want to know how the fight went down, the brawl is right here. Or if you want to see how Carson got in this mess in the first place, click right here.